All right, hey everybody. Hey, today we're going to be talking about this book, The Tuttle Twins and Their Spectacular Show Business. So, this book is all about entrepreneurship and business ownership. And first we'll start like we always do with a summary of what this book is all about. So, Jack, why don't you start us off?
Um, so they were in New York and they were at a play. They were at a play in New York on Broadway, and then when they left, Ethan and Emily wanted to make a play in their house in their town because there was nothing like that in their town. So they watched Shark Pool on the plane ride home, and then they realized that the people on Shark Pool invested with those people who wanted to start their business. So they gave them money to start their business. But then they were part owners of the business.
Okay, so Bo, pick it up from there. So they had the idea to go start a play. So why did they want to start that in the first place?
Well, they saw the Shark Pool thing on TV on the plane ride, and they just I kind of forgot why they wanted to. But
Why does anybody really start a business?
to make money.
They want to make money. Okay, so they wanted to make money so they could go buy whatever, toys and whatever they wanted, right? Okay, so Blake, so what did they have to think of when they started looking at what it's going to take to start that business? What did they realize?
They realized how much it's gonna cost.
Right.
So they had to get people to pay them to use their thing in the play.
Right. So first they had to come up with some money, right? Because they had to put pay a lot of expenses right up front to get it going, right?
Yeah.
And then they had to figure out how they were going to earn their money back and start making a profit, right? That's when they come up with how much they're going to charge people for the tickets. Could they have charged people $100 per ticket?
No.
They could, but nobody would come
Nobody would come. Why not?
because that's really expensive for a ticket.
Okay, because what else could they do with that $100?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Maybe they would just go to a movie next door instead for $10 instead of paying $100 to go see their play, right? So good. So they can't just pick any arbitrary price. They had to pick a price that they knew people would pay. Okay, good. So let's talk about what is an entrepreneur. Bo, what's an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur is it somebody who creates something?
Yeah. So somebody who starts a business, say. Okay. So now remember the book talked about trying to figure out who you are. There's really two types of people. There's one type of person they want a job where they know they get a consistent paycheck and they have consistent work hours. So maybe they work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. And they know exactly how much money they're going to make every day, and the company pays benefits and all things like that. And then there's another group of people who maybe are okay with the risk involved of just being their own boss and starting their own business. Okay? And that's what that's what group they're in. They're in the group of there's nothing wrong with working a job for somebody else and earning a consistent paycheck. That's what most people do. And even when you're an entrepreneur, you need people like that on your team. But entrepreneurs are okay risking some of their security to do something that they love and to hopefully make a lot more money than they would otherwise. So what are some of the pros and cons? So what are some of the positives of being an entrepreneur, Blake?
That most of the money goes to you.
Okay. So I think what you're saying is when you work hard and you get a big reward because you make a lot of money, you get all that money, not the company that you work for, right? Okay, good. That's a really good pro. Jack, what's another advantage to being an entrepreneur?
Well, I was just gonna say, like what he said,
Okay.
you
There's more though.
get more money.
Yeah, possibly. You might get more money if your business does well, right? Okay, so what's another positive?
Um, another positive is that you can help people
Yeah,
with your invention.
sure. Yeah, maybe you found a need that people need something, or that you realize you need, but nobody else is making that or providing that service, so you get to do that and help people. Yeah, that's great. And can you make money without helping people?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, really, it's kind of tough to make money without helping people. Just about every business out there is in the business of making your life better in some way, whether it's making the best ice cream in town or putting a roof on your house or mowing your grass, something like that. You're helping people, right? Okay. Did you say one? What's another pro, Jack?
Another pro.
What would be another good thing about being an entrepreneur?
Um,
Do you have to get up and go to a job, go sit at a desk from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. before somebody says you're allowed to leave?
no,
No? So, what's good about that?
that's good because you're your own boss.
You're your own boss. Okay. So, a lot of people do that because they want to be their own boss. They don't want somebody telling them what to do. They want to make they want to call the shots, right? Okay. So, what are some cons, some disadvantages to being an entrepreneur?
Sometimes the thing you want to make money off of doesn't work as planned.
Okay. So, then what happens?
You go out of business.
Okay. And what's so bad about that?
Well, you lose the money, you lose the profit that you're coming in,
Yeah.
and you also lose like the other person who's in like the ownership with you.
Right. If you had an investor, or maybe you had your own savings that you saved up for years and you spent on that business and then it went out of business and you lost all that money. Right. So what do we call that? There's one word for that. That could possibly happen. So that's a risk. It's a risk, right? It's a risk of being an entrepreneur that you could lose everything. Blake, what's another disadvantage or possible disadvantage? Yeah, it's kind of tough, huh? I mean, once you do it and you live it, then you realize it pretty quickly. Now, what about, a lot of people get paid vacations if they work for a big company. You think you get paid vacations as an entrepreneur?
No.
No, I mean, not in the beginning anyway, when you're doing all the work, right? So you're not going to make money unless you're working, right? At the very beginning.
You have to find people to work for you.
Bingo. Yeah, that's how you really grow the business, is find other people to work for you so that you can step away from those little jobs and think of something bigger and learn how to grow that business bigger. So you're really you're providing jobs for people. So that's actually a really good positive, a really good pro being an entrepreneur is you get to provide jobs. Okay. So what does it take to start your own business? Let's talk about that. So think of a business. What could you three do right now? Like say in the next month, what's a business that you guys could do?
Shoveling snow.
Shoveling snow. Okay, good. So let's talk about that. Let's just use that as an example. How much money would it cost to start that?
We need to buy shovels.
Okay, shovels.
Snow gear.
Snow gear.
Maybe possibly like whatever it's called, snow blower.
A snow blower. Okay. Okay, so that's some money, right?
And you also need time.
And you need the time, right? Do you guys have time right now?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You have all the time in the world. Okay. So good, you got that figured out. Now you got all the equipment. Now what do you need? Blake, what do you need?
To start your own business.
Yeah.
You need employees.
Well, what if the three of you that's all you got right now?
You need people to work for
you. You need customers, right? Okay, so how are you going to go get customers?
We can go door to door and ask.
Yeah.
Or we can set like flyers or something.
Oh yeah, good idea. So marketing. Good idea, Blake. Okay. So you've identified a need. People need their driveway shovel. You identify what you need to start it. You identified your customer. Now, it sounds like you're making a marketing plan. Good. So once you have customers, you're ready to go, right? Good. All right. So that's how you would start a business. Pretty simple in theory. It takes a lot of work though, if you guys actually go out and do that, right? So that's cool. And you guys have done that a little bit before with lemonade stands, or maybe ask the neighbors if you could do something for them for money. So same thing. Now what if you guys went around the neighborhood and every single neighbor said, yes, I want you to shovel my driveway every time it snows?
That'd be super hard.
Why?
Because there's a bunch of driveways.
Okay, so
When it snows once, you would have to go shovel every driveway.
so you're saying the three of you wouldn't be able to shovel every driveway? Okay, so then what would you need to do?
Hire people.
Okay. Are there other kids in the neighborhood you think you could hire?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if somebody paid you $10 to shovel their driveway? And what if you went down the street and got Ethan and hired him? How much would you pay him to shovel the driveway?
Like $5.
$5. Okay. So guess what? Ethan's making money. And look, now you're making $5 without having to shovel the driveway. Now, is that unfair to Ethan?
No.
No, why not?
Because we did the work finding all the stuff.
Right.
They got all the equipment.
And you pay for all the equipment. So that's the way businesses work. When you hire people, you're going to pay them a fair wage to do that particular job, even though you're going to make money while they're doing it. So that's how you guys could grow that big business and eventually have enough kids out there shoveling driveways that you can sit in here on a cozy couch watching TV while they're out there shoveling driveways and you're making money. And then you have time and money to go start another business and hire more people and provide more jobs for people. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So there's about 5 questions in the back of this book. So this book talked a lot about, and what we've been talking about is risk as well, because it takes risk when you're an entrepreneur, right? You invested in all that snow shoveling equipment, but what if you don't get any customers? Or what if it doesn't snow? Then you spend all that money and there's no way to repay it, right? So why is there potential reward when risk is involved? So if there was no risk, how many people do you think would do it? Like if it was guaranteed. If it was guaranteed that they would make money doing this business, how many people do you think a lot of people would start that business?
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it ever guaranteed? No, which means there's risk, right? Which is why not many people start the business, right? Oh, tell them you'll be out in a few minutes. All right, do you know what a monopoly is?
Do you guys have questions? Yeah.
Okay, a monopoly is when
Thanks.
when there's only one business. When there's only one business in town that provides the service. Okay? So it means they don't have any competition.
Which means that you don't need to spend time making your business better.
Right. So if you guys had your snow shoveling business and nobody else decided to do that business in this neighborhood, you guys would be the only company in town doing that, right?
You'd make more money.
You would make more money. You wouldn't have any competition, right? But is that necessarily good for the customer?
No.
Why?
No, because if you do a bad job, then you would be the only person to do it for them.
Right. So you could do a bad job and they might still pay you to do it again because they don't want to do it, even though it's a really bad job. So, or you could pay him, or you can make him pay $50, right? And because nobody else will do it for them, maybe somebody broke their leg and they can't shovel their own driveway, and they don't have a choice. Now they have to pay you $50 to shovel their driveway.
That would just be harsh.
Yeah, that'd be harsh, right? So you have to have a heart too. But what if one of the other neighbors started up a business doing the same thing, and he started charging everybody in the neighborhood $15.
I would lower it to $10.
Okay, well, what if you charged 5?
I would.
Eventually, you can't lower the price anymore, right? So then what do you have to do?
You have to make your business better.
You got to make it better. So you have to make the customer experience better, right? So maybe instead of just shoveling the driveway, you shovel the sidewalk. You take their trash cans out to the end of the street and
You
take
give
them
them a
back.
candy cane.
You give them a candy cane. You shovel their deck and all their steps. So you do a lot more for them, right? So they come back to you. And that's what competition does, right? So competition makes everything better. It requires you to provide better prices for your customers and better service for your customers. So competition, all the neighbors would appreciate the competition because it's better for them. Good. So we already talked about what kind of business you could start in the next few months. And then let's go back to what prevents people from starting a business.
They might be scared.
Okay, scared? Why? Why would they be scared to start a business, Blake?
Because if it didn't turn out how they expected it to, and if it didn't turn out how they expected it to, then you might have just used the money for no reason.
Yeah, you spend that money and get no return on it. Right, which is, what's that word we give to that?
Risk.
Risk. Because it's risky. I think that's probably the biggest reason most people don't do it. Can you think of any other reasons?
Well, because they might be afraid they won't make enough money.
Yeah. Do you think it's less work to be an entrepreneur or more work to be an entrepreneur
At the beginning,
versus going to just work for somebody else who
at
pays
the
you?
beginning it's more work, but at the end, once you have all the people, the customers,
Mhm.
and the people you have working for you, it's less work because you don't have to do as much.
Right. Both. So a lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want to do the work because it's a lot of work. Entrepreneurs are people who quit their job so they can make half as much money and work twice as many hours. That's kind of what entrepreneurs do a lot of the time. But they do that because they know if they struggle right now and put in the work now, it's going to pay off down the road. And eventually they'll be able to make money without having to do the actual work because they'll hire people and they can grow the business. Cool. Good. That was fun. Kind of makes me think you guys should start a snow shoveling business. Yeah? Blake could be the marketing guy. So how would you guys split that up? Like, who would be responsible for what? Because you all can't be responsible for the same thing.
Like I could do the driveways.
Okay?
Blake could do the
I
deck.
could do the.
Oh, yeah?
Jack could do the sidewalk, and obviously it's not gonna last forever, so
Right.
he could come help.
Nice. So you can split up your responsibilities and the actual work.
And then if we have $10, we could split it up, evenly.
Yeah. Because you guys are all 1/3 business owners. What do you get? And then maybe Blake could do the marketing because he's the cutest and he would get the most people to say yes. And Bo, you could do the hiring. And then Jack, you could do the managing. You can manage everybody once they're hired. So that's how you could split it up. Well, cool. That was fun. And again, highly recommend these books, Tuttle Twin Series. Hope you guys got something out of that. I know these boys did. So thanks, and we'll see you next week.